on the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield. Live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar inside the Hyatt Regency in Coralville. This is Hawk Talk with Coach Ben McCollum. Brought to you by Honda. To see how Honda crushes the competition, see your local Central Midwest Honda dealer. Honda gets the Midwest. Iowa Corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. Your Iowa John Deere dealers. John Deere loves to see the Hawkeyes do their thing, because if anyone can appreciate building a legacy, it's Deere. Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Made right here in Iowa since 1895. Extreme, powered by Mediacom. It's the internet dreams are made of. Mid-American Energy. Mid-American Energy is proud to deliver affordable, reliable energy to you all season long. By your local Ford dealers. Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle. Midwest One Bank is the presenting sponsor of Hawkeye men's basketball. Visit MidwestOne.bank for empowered money management. Member FDIC. Also brought to you by Shelter Insurance. The ball is in your court. Visit shelterinsurance.com to find an agent who can help you with your auto, home, and life insurance needs. University of Iowa Healthcare. Changing medicine, changing lives. And by U.S. Cellular, the official wireless partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everybody. Good evening and welcome to the Ben McCollum Hawk Talk program. We're live at the Hyatt Regency in the Iowa River Landing. And the entire community is lit up, as you would imagine, with all the Christmas lights and the glitter and the trees. And the Hyatt Regency is leading the way here in the Iowa River Landing. Thank you for joining us here on Hawk Talk for our last show before the Christmas holiday break. We'll be back right after the New Year. Plenty to talk about, plenty to look forward to. But right out of the gate, let's thank the Hyatt Regency and the Watermill Kitchen and Bar, where we're situated, for hosting us all season long. If you're looking for an intimate space for your upcoming holiday party, whether it's Christmas or New Year's, Watermill Kitchen and Bar's private dining room is the ideal spot to gather for your small group this holiday season. With space up to 18 guests and a menu full of unique options for everyone to enjoy, it's a great way to celebrate together. Visit watermillkitchen.com for more information. watermillkitchen.com. We're here for the next 90 minutes, taking your text messages on the U.S. Cellular text line, on Twitter, on Facebook, even on email. We'll get you those addresses in just a minute to check us out on Hawk Talk live from the Hyatt. Iowa is now 10 wins and 2 defeats following a 94-39 win, 94-39 over the Bison of Bucknell Saturday night in Des Moines. And let me start right out by thanking you Central Iowa folks who are tuned in for coming out. A little better than 9,000 people, around 9,000 there. They sold 10,000 tickets at the Casey Center, and it turned out to be a very loud and boisterous and vocal 9,000 fans. Bobby Hansen and I were talking about that throughout the evening, and boy, they needed you. Bobby joins me now. Bobby Hansen, my broadcast partner. You, me, all 9,000. Maybe there are a few Bucknell fans there who didn't expect Ruat to come out and nail 3 threes back to start the game. I speak of Ruat Biziek, young man from Hawkeyes who prepped at West Des Moines Valley. All of a sudden, it's 10-2 to start, and although you weren't biting your nails off at that time, Bobby, Hawks took a pretty good punch to the face and came roaring back.
Yeah, that's a good sign, and this is a resilient team, Gary. And the kid Ruat, as you mentioned, played at Valley, I think, or maybe Hawkeyes Northwest, but he came out on fire. He came out shooting the basketball from deep and hit 3 of them there early, 2 of them during that 10-2 stretch there. But the Hawkeyes gained control with a 15-0 run. Coach McCollum went to the bench at that time. He brought in Alvaro Fulgaris, brought in our player of the game, Isaiah Howard, and they brought instant energy off the bench. And Alvaro got his offensive game going.
It sure did. At the end, it was a 23-4 run. Hawks got up double digits, and they never looked back. They gradually extended it to 22 points at halftime, and then outscored the Bison 51-18 in the second half. And I bring that up because we know the Hawks can score points. See Bennett Sturtz, see Folgaris, who we'll talk about. But, Bobby, the defense has been unbelievable. It's been unbelievably good. It's top 10 in the country, top 5 in the country.
Yeah, it's the story of these first 12 games, Gary, no doubt about it. You're seeing the energy that these guys are bringing, following the game plan. They're helping each other out, not over-helping, doing a nice job of rebounding the basketball on the defensive end to finish that defensive possession. But, I love how they're playing. I love how they're getting after you. They're being physical on the defensive end. That was part of the scouting plan when these guys were going to come off of screen after screen after screen. They had a couple of big guys, Bucknell did, and they used them as screeners. But Coach was talking to them in the pregame shoot-around about got to be physical. Force yourself through those screens. Don't allow yourself. Jerry Sloan, an old coach of mine, used to say, don't allow yourself to be screened. Don't just run into the screen and attach yourself like flypaper to the screen. A lot of guys do that, but work your way around. Throw your arm through there and force your way through that screen.
If I heard Coach McCollum say it once, I've heard it twice in practices and shoot-arounds. Fight your way through that screen. Don't allow yourself to be screened.
Exactly.
That makes perfect sense when you think about it.
But a lot of guys do. They take the easy way out.
Well, they go under it.
They go run right into it.
Yeah. That's an even better
That's why, don't attach yourself to the screener like you ran into flypaper. That's what Sloan used to say. Either go under it or force yourself
now you're stuck.
To go around it. Yeah, now you're stuck, and then you're looking for help, and that's not good.
When Al Folgaris hopped off the bench and drained 3 consecutive three-point goals, boy, it turned in a hurry, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And you could see it coming for Alvaro. And he'd been some bad luck, if you will, on some fouls. And seems like they've corrected that. But he's got a great attitude. Love talking to Alvaro. And he's always upbeat, the guy is. And he just loves playing a game of basketball. He's got that Spanish energy and flair to his game. And when he's hitting that outside shot, he's pretty good.
You can reach us on Hawk Talk tonight, live here at the Hyatt Regency in the Watermill Kitchen and Bar on the Hawkeye Radio Network, of course. We appreciate your listenership. You can also tune in to via the Varsity Network app. And we're happy to say this fall and winter, you can watch. Well, I guess winter is officially here now, isn't it, as of yesterday?
It is.
December 21. You can watch us on the official Iowa Hawkeyes YouTube page, or Mediacom Channel 22 on 822 on the cable system. Mediacom gracious enough to broadcast our show each and every Monday night throughout the basketball season. Thanks to Jeff, Michael, and India for hooking everything up properly and beaming us out around eastern Iowa and central Iowa. Now, you can ask the coaches a question on Twitter at Gary Dolphin, on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. We're on the U.S. Cellular text line, 319-853-8344. 319-853-8344. Or email us your thoughts to hawktalk@HawkeyeRadioNetwork.com. We have a Hawkeye basketball player guest, as we will each and every Hawk Talk with Coach McCollum this season. And Jacob Cook is with us here from Iowa City West, homegrown native son, who will join Bobby and I next to talk about the win Saturday night and what lies ahead with the Big Ten season right around the corner. This is Hawk Talk with Coach McCollum, and we're live from the Hyatt Regency and the Watermill Kitchen and Bar in Learfield. Back after this.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
Can you think of anything that costs the same today as it did 10 years ago? There isn't much. That is, unless you're a Mid-American Energy customer. Thanks to all the renewable energy we're generating, our customers pay nearly the same rate for electricity today as they did back when we were all singing, "Call Me Maybe." And with Mid-American making even more investments in clean energy, you can count on enjoying those same affordable rates for the next decade. Now that's obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
RE/MAX is the official real estate partner of Iowa Athletics, and we understand there's a number for everything: square footage, down payment, interest rates. But how do you measure the trust you have in your agent? For a RE/MAX agent, it's not about numbers on a contract. It's being a trusted RE/MAX agent. That means you'll get honest advice, expert guidance, and someone who's committed to your success. Because while numbers count, trust is what truly matters. RE/MAX, the official real estate partner of Iowa Athletics. Each office independently owned and operated.
You asked for all the extreme internet performance at an all-in price, and we listened. Get 1 gig internet with a 2-year price lock and everything included. Unlimited data for non-stop streaming, powerful Wi-Fi for enhanced coverage, built-in online threat protection, and internet equipment. All for just $65 a month for 2 years. It's the extreme 1 gig internet deal you asked for. Call 844-4FASTER or visit extreme.com for details. Offer available to new customers only. Price doesn't include one-time charges, tax, and government fees.
Hawk fans, stop in and visit the newly renovated guest rooms at Hyatt Regency Coralville Hotel and Conference Center, located in the heart of Iowa River Landing. Stay within walking distance of Xtreme Arena, home of the Iowa Hawkeye volleyball team, as well as great restaurants, shopping, and scenic walking trails along the Iowa River. Hyatt Regency Coralville is also the home of Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen and Ben McCollum. Come together at Hyatt Regency Coralville, where everything you need is right here.
Hawkeye Radio Network Bowl Week coverage begins from Tampa on December 26th with daily Fight for Iowa podcasts. Then on December 30th, join us from Splitsville and Channelside for the Fight for Iowa Bowl Preview Show from 4 to 5:30 Eastern. And on December 31st, it's the Relia Quest Bowl featuring Iowa versus Vanderbilt. Pregame at 9 a.m. and kickoff just after 11. Bowl Week coverage is presented by Hills Bank, banking on community. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Member FDIC.
Hawk Talk coming to you live from the Hyatt Regency. Happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. The Hawks are headed to the Relia Quest Bowl of football. Leaves on Christmas Day, and they'll be down there for the December 31st New Year's Eve Bowl. And some great news today for Iowa football. The offensive line won the Joe Moore Award, which is symbolic of the best offensive line in college football. And we'll zero in on that here in a few minutes. But first, we're talking Hawkeye basketball. Iowa has 1 game left before the Big Ten schedule. That's coming up December 29th against the University of Massachusetts Lowell. And we'll get the scouting report on them a little bit later on in the program. But as we like to do, we invite a Iowa basketball player each and every week. And delighted to have Jacob Cook back with us again this year, sophomore from Iowa City West. Walk-on, doing a great job in practice. Got in the other night and nailed a shot, and he's been an integral part, as Ben McCollum, Fran McCaffrey, who got him to come to Iowa before Coach will tell you, when you come to practice or shoot around every day, you need 10, 12 guys. They're willing to go to war, and Jacob Cook is all that, a 6'2", 185-pound sophomore from Iowa City West. Welcome back. This is your second show.
Yes, it is. Last year was very fun, so I'm excited to be here.
You're a seasoned veteran now, right?
Yeah.
Bobby, I thought he did pretty good for his first try.
Awesome. Huh? Yeah, it's good to hear that Jacob was going to be back with us. He's now a sophomore, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah. So I've been getting in the ball games every now and then. How's it going there in your sophomore year?
Yeah, no, it's really fun. Yeah, I'm loving basically all about it. Loving, especially the environment. All the guys are really great, so that's an awesome part of it. But
yeah, it's crazy because you got a whole new team.
I know. Yeah,
you and Cooper.
Yeah, coming into it, I really only knew Cooper. So
how was that first meeting with everybody?
It was very interesting. Yeah, we kind of met in the film room and did like a little icebreaker. Honestly, like kind of get to know everybody and stuff like that. So I kind of also knew Trevin. He played attack, so I 1 year overlapped with him at attack.
Oh, the Iowa Tech.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, did you play them in high school? Did you play Trevin in high school?
We never actually did. No, not a single year.
What was that first meeting like? That's interesting because you got 6 guys from Drake, and you've got other pieces. I mean, I love this freshman class, led by Tate Sage. So who's the spokesman for the group? We're trying to figure that out.
Would
that be you?
Brendan's a very, very outgoing
Austin?
guy. So he's very good voice guy.
So he's vocal like the way he shoots the basketball. Right?
Yes, sir.
It's gone. Give it to me.
Yes,
Reminds
sir.
me a lot of Kingsbury. I've said that on the air.
He's got that range.
Oh man, he does. And but you know what? We've noticed you at practice a lot and pregame meals. You're usually the most vocal at the table. You're tying the guys together, right? You enjoy the party. I mean, what the heck?
No, definitely.
I mean, you got to be having the time of your life.
Yeah, no, it's really fun. I'm loving all of it. Yeah.
Well, 10-2. What do you think? I mean, that's a good start in anybody's vernacular. Your 2 losses, the Hawks' 2 losses, are to top 10 programs, Iowa State and Michigan State. All in all, pretty good start with the Big Ten right around the corner, huh?
Yeah. Definitely excited to get into the Big Ten play, get some really competitive games like UCLA coming up. I'm excited for that game. And don't have to go all the way to L.A. this year. They got to come to us, so we'll see how that goes now.
Do have to go to the Northwest, though.
We do,
Eugene and Seattle, but it'll be fun. These road trips now with this new look Big Ten have got to be even if you're not a geography major, they got to be a lot of fun just anticipating.
Yeah, they are. I think we go to like Washington and Oregon literally like the first week you get back from break, so we get kind of an extended break from school basically.
Tell them it's not like we're going through airports.
No, it's
we're getting your bags handled. Walking onto a charter.
They
hand you a box of food.
Easy for us.
Good, yeah.
No, it's amazing.
The new rankings out today of the Hawks number 25 in the Associated Press poll, and 23 on the coaches poll, right where you were a week ago. I mean, I'm melding into a question about Ben McCollum. He has just been such an intriguing figure. We watched him at Drake a year ago, 4 national championships at Northwest Missouri State. You as a player, he invited you to stay with the team. What is it about Ben McCollum that gets your attention right out of the gate?
I'd say definitely like his energy, and then also just like how connected he is with the players. Like everybody feels very comfortable like talking to him, whether you're eating or whatever. Very comfortable just having conversations with him, but really just his energy, what he brings to not only games but practices. He just keeps everything very intense and everything 100%, so I kind of love that.
I see you someday as a coach. Jacob, is that in your future? Is that what you're maybe, or you got
probably
other
not.
plans?
No, probably not.
No, you're not coach.
No, not quite.
Okay, as a young player, what have you picked up different from the last regime to what Coach McCollum is getting done here?
Yeah, I'd say last year we obviously worked on like a lot of transition stuff. We haven't worked a ton on like transition. Like we obviously we'll push the ball if it's there, but last year we looked to push the ball a lot more, get some earlier shots. But this year it's definitely more. We'll set up our offense. We'll run a few more plays, kind of get our guys opening the ball in guys' hands like Bennett, obviously, to get him going. And then also some of the defensive stuff, like I'd say like the ball screens were a little more key on some of the coverages, changing game to game and knowing like exactly what the big needs to do for each game, like on those things.
How good is Bennett Sturts?
Oh, man,
you guard him every day in practice, I would think.
It's very tiring to guard him is one of the things. He runs around a lot, so that's part of the hard part about it. But, yeah, no, he's insane. He can do everything. He can shoot. He can get right by you. So it's really amazing to watch him play and hard to guard him, though.
Yeah. What are the components? I mean, this is a top 5 nationally ranked defense, 61, 62 points a game, defensive efficiency on field goal percentage. What is it about this defense that we haven't seen at Iowa in a few years?
I think part of it might be some of like the ball pressure and not letting guys get up threes right away or like at the end of the clock, get off great shots. I think that's a big part of it. But also I'd say like some of the ball screen stuff and not letting them kind of do what they want to do and us making them do what we want them to do and kind of creating our own atmosphere. For
Bobby, what do you see on the defense? I mean, you played at the highest level.
Yeah, I've just seen what Jacob talked about right there, that ball pressure. And that talking to Connor Wheeler, Coach Wheeler at halftime after that game, he said that's what we want to continue to do there in the second half against Bucknell. So you see that. I see communication. I see how you're handling the screens, and you're being physical, which I think is the key to any good defense is you got to put your body on somebody, and then the rebounds afterwards, the blocking out. Everybody's blocking out and going and retrieving the ball.
Yeah, we're very, very big on the rebounding aspect. We've been practicing that a lot, especially with letting up quite a few O-boards in some of our games. But I'd say also it has helped the weightlifting program. Coach O is really good in the weightlifting. Logan Ogden from Utah. Yes, I really like him. So I get in quite a bit of lifts with him, sometimes extra lifts when I don't always play a ton. So, but he's a really great guy. He's really helped me get stronger this year, too. So. I noticed you're really chiseled this year compared to last year. I like to think so. We'll try and get there. All right, so Bobby misfired on you want to be a coach. What do you want to be when you grow up? What's your major, and what are you studying? And, you got a couple years left. You got some time to think about it, but I haven't fully declared yet, but something in business. I'm probably going to declare finance. That's what I've been looking at. So banker, huh? That's what my dad does, so might go into something like that. But, yeah, I'm not for sure where we're going to go. Hey, we got one question. We got more than one question, but let's throw this at. Did Jacob want to play for Iowa when he was growing up? And it's awesome to have him and Cooper Koch's legacy Hawks. Did you always want to be a Hawk at Iowa City West? Yeah, no, I definitely did. Part of it just like seeing my dad and all his stuff and just going to all the Hawkeye games was pretty awesome. Just seeing that atmosphere. But then also, like wearing my dad's jersey when I was younger, that was always like a part I wanted to always come here and kind of fulfill that as well. That's the Iowa way, Yeah, exactly. It is. Hey, thanks for coming out, Jake. Look forward to traveling with you all year. Yes, sir.
Yeah, but Merry Christmas.
Appreciate it.
Happy holidays. Christmas. Jacob Cook, our guest here, our player guest on Hawk Talk with Coach Ben McCollum. Appreciate Jake stopping by tonight. The Fight for Iowa Bowl Week coverage starts December 27th this weekend with daily podcasts from Tampa. Pat Anger and I will be bringing you interviews, analysis, and all the Bowl Week updates presented by Hills Bank. Find the Fight for Iowa podcast on HawkeyeSports.com, YouTube, and your favorite podcast platforms. And speaking of Iowa football, we've got a special guest joining us on the phone when we return to Hawk Talk with Coach McCollum at the Watermill Kitchen and Bar on the Hyatt from Learfield.
Dives for lunch.
The Juicy Lucy. Essentially, it's a burger, but with cheese on the inside.
James Beard Award winners for dinner.
French technique, but Midwestern ingredients. It's a little unbecoming to lick the bowl, but...
Plan your next trip at exploreminnesota.com.
Hawkeye Radio Network Bowl Week coverage begins from Tampa on December 26th with daily Fight for Iowa podcasts. Then on December 30th, join us from Splitsville and Channelside for the Fight for Iowa Bowl Preview Show from 4 to 5:30 Eastern. And on December 31st, it's the Relia Quest Bowl featuring Iowa versus Vanderbilt. Pregame at 9 a.m. and kickoff just after 11. Bowl Week coverage is presented by Hills Bank, banking on community. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Member FDIC.
The year-end clearance sale is going on now at your local Honda dealer. Honda cars, SUVs, and trucks are on clearance during Happy Honda Days. Save thousands on the new Honda today with 0.99% financing. 2025 Accords, Pilots, and Ridgelines are on clearance. Plus, see big savings on the full Honda line, like financing as low as 0.99% APR on the new 2025 Ridgeline. Don't miss Happy Honda Days. Search your local Honda dealer today. See dealer for financing details. Financing on credit approval offer ends 1/5/26.
Iowa fans, with US Mode from US Cellular, you can keep your eye on the game, not on your screen. Whether you're inside the stadium, tailgating in the lots, or listening to the game at home, US Cellular wants you to focus on genuine connections with your family, friends, and fellow Hawkeye fans. That means at game time, you should do less scrolling and more cheering. So eliminate distractions and build connections by setting your phone to US Mode, because game day is for cheering on the Hawkeyes. Go Hawks! US Cellular, built for us.
Tournament Club of Iowa, designed by golf legend Arnold Palmer. TCI is his only signature course in the state. TCI is a public course offering a challenging yet enticing experience for golfers of all levels and is managed by Kaler Golf. Cap off your round with breathtaking views and a delicious meal at the TCI Bar and Grill. Looking for a unique setting for your wedding party or outing? Look no further than the newly renovated clubhouse at TCI. Visit tcofiowa.com to book your tee time today.
Attention Hawkeye fans, Big Grove is proud to be an official craft brewery of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Whether you're at the game or watching from home, Big Grove has got you covered. Enjoy an easy Eddie from the stands or visit them for every Hawkeye game at any of their 4 convenient Iowa locations in Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, Des Moines, or Solon. Big Grove Brewery, your official watch party headquarters of the Hawkeyes. Go Hawks! Big Grove Brewery, an official craft brewery of the Iowa Hawkeyes.
In Minnesota, we don't hide from winter. We embrace it. When there's a nip in the air, we take on the trails. For every layer you wear, there's a new experience waiting for you.
It's a little unbecoming to lick the bowl, but...
Plan your next trip at exploreminnesota.com.
We're back live on Hawk Talk from the Hyatt Regency. Welcome in, everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I'm Gary Dolphin. Bobby Hansen is going to take the next 5 minutes off, and we'll get back to Iowa basketball in just a few minutes. But right now, a surprise presentation occurred today inside the Hansen Football Performance Center on the Hawkeye campus. Your Iowa Hawkeyes won for the second time the Joe Moore Award, symbolic of the best offensive line in college football. How about that? It's the 5th time a Big Ten program has won it, and the Hawks have won it twice. So a round of applause, please, for from left to right, Trevor Locke at tackle, Bo Stevens at left guard, your Remington Trophy winner, and Outland Trophy finalist Logan Jones at center. At right guard, Cade Pieper, and at right tackle, the big redhead Jennings Dunker. And, of course, you got to have, with all that talent, you still need a terrific coach to line them up every day and pound the Iowa way into them. And we've got George Barnett, Coach Barnett, Iowa's outstanding offensive line coach, on the line with us. George, first off, congratulations, and thanks so much for joining us for a couple minutes.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. Great to be with you.
Just your general thoughts on the announcement today. I mean, Iowa's been a finalist for a few weeks, but what were your thoughts when the announcement was made by Aaron Taylor, who's the founder of the Joe Moore Award? Aaron was an unbelievable player at Notre Dame, won a Super Bowl with the Packers. Your general thoughts?
Just really, really humbled and really happy for the kids. You know, we knew we had that caliber of a group throughout the year. But when it actually happens, you know, it's kind of like Christmas morning when you're watching your kids open up presents and the smiles they have on their face, and you're just a proud parent, and that's kind of the feeling you have when you watch those kids and to get what they've earned, and just couldn't imagine a better group of seniors who have led the way and grown so much. And obviously, there's a couple of youngsters in there too that have hung in there with them too, but to see those seniors go through what they have throughout their career and come out the other end is it's pretty special.
You know, the first thought I had was, okay, George is a phenomenal coach, but your head coach is a former offensive line coach, and there was nobody closer to Joe Moore than head coach Kirk Ferentz, all the way back to his grad assistant days at Pittsburgh, and I'm sure a thought or two ran through your mind about that.
No, just as you're so happy, because I stayed in the back as much as I could and just kind of watched the kids, and I had the same feeling. It sounds silly, but I had the same feeling watching my head coach talk to Aaron and see the trophy and knowing how much Coach Moore meant to his life, and it was just really gratifying. It was a special situation.
Coach Barnett, you mentioned those 3 seniors. Who is more important to what the plan was, to what the attack was week to week than Logan Jones, the guy that had his hand on the football every snap when Iowa had the ball, knowing that you had a first-year quarterback? I mean, there's a lot of pressure on that center, and man, he's so laid back. Council Bluffs should stand up and take a bow. You got to be so proud of Logan.
Extremely proud. Just his story, and all these seniors have just stories that you wouldn't even you think someone was making them up, to be honest with you. But Logan takes a backseat to nobody. Just how he's handled himself this year, he's one of the best leaders I've been around in all my years of coaching. and he does it in such a manner that everybody magnetizes to him, and his communication skills, his ability to see defenses and see things before it happens is really special, and I think that helps the whole offense for sure.
Coach George Barnett with us for another minute today. If you missed it, the Iowa Hawkeyes have won the Joe Moore Award, which is symbolic of the most outstanding offensive line unit in college football. And George, we talk about Logan, but your mentality as a coach, I know offensive line coaches, they're not for the spotlight, but you have been so solid in your first few years here at Iowa. And there are a lot of injury issues to address. And when you got guys putting their knuckles in the dirt and they're bending over, they got backs, knees, hands, arms, rarely do you stay healthy. This offensive line stayed healthy and started for 12 consecutive games. It starts with health, doesn't it? Because you're talking about 5 guys pulling the same way, not just one.
No, you're exactly right, Gary. And I think as kids get older, they play through more things than they had when they were younger. And, I just think, those last 2 or 3 weeks, those all 3 seniors, they weren't playing at 100%. That's for damn sure. And lo and behold, every Saturday they were ready to roll, and because they understand the importance of reliability and being there for each other. And it was just fun to watch those guys grow and show up every week like that. But the consistency, as you know, it makes such a difference. The 2 things that make an offensive line go is maturity and consistency, and this group certainly had that.
Coach, what was the first thing you'd say to your offensive line every day when they show up for practice? What was your mantra? What was your MO to get things rolling and obviously to get to this point?
Well, I think early on, when you talk about the dog days and 21, 22, and especially 22, when you had all these guys were getting their first action, it's you don't flinch. The bad days got to be good days, and you got to see things through, and just make sure you stay on the bit and don't give up on yourself and chase your dreams and things like that. And as they get older, you need to say less. That's a Coach Ferentz axiom. Like, don't squeeze the bat. Don't swing too hard. Let the club do the work. And when you have 3 seniors doing what they did this year and practicing every day the way they did and the level of intensity they had, you got to let them do the work, and you got to guide them and be there for them and work on those 2 younger kids in there. But those seniors, they were an extension of a coach big time. So a little bit less as they got older for sure.
Yeah, that's great stuff, George. Coach, we'll let you go with this. I suppose if every offensive line has to have a character, and at Iowa, to me, it's Jennings Dunker, 6'6", 315 pounds, red-headed farmer from Lena Winslow, Illinois. Can you give us one sentence to describe the big hayseed?
Genuine. Unique. I'll give you a few more words. Dunk's one of those kids that is genuinely himself. He's not trying to be anything else. He's in his own skin, man, and that's why he's doing what he's doing. This is a small town kid that had dreams of doing what he's doing right now, but did he actually believe in them? And I think to watch a kid like him, they're all like all 3 of these seniors are the same. To watch them, get their belief to match the coaches as time goes, and then they take it and run with it. But Dunk is for sure a unique personality. But this whole crew, they're not robots. They're a fun group to be around. We're kind of like you go to daycare and you pick up your kid, and there's that one kid in the corner that's got holes in his jeans because he played too hard, or maybe ate a couple of erasers or something like that during the day, and just having a little too much fun. That's this group, and that's why they've been so fun to be around. They like to mix it up. They like the competition, and the seniors led the way on that.
Great stuff, Coach. We'll see you later this week in Tampa. What's your first blink at that Vanderbilt defense? Where do you start with them?
Well, multiple. they do a tremendous job. They're very well coached, as you can imagine. Coach Lee does a tremendous job down there, and you can see it throughout it permeates through their whole team. And defensively, they're going to try to confuse you a little bit, but they also have the ability to play physical. So we'll have our hands full for sure. So we're right in the middle of it and in the thick of it right now, and preparing for those guys. And it'll take every day of preparation for sure.
Coach, thanks so much for joining us on short notice. I really appreciate it here on Hawk Talk. Okay.
You got it, man. Appreciate you. Thanks, Gary.
George Barnett, Iowa offensive line coach, outstanding coach, and man, what a job he did with that. Joe Moore, award-winning outstanding offensive line for the Iowa Hawkeyes this year, and they'll be an integral part of the attack as they have been all year long. Iowa averaged about 180 yards rushing the football this year. And, of course, Mark Gronowski set a new school record for most rushing touchdowns. So they'll be trying to bulldoze their way to a ReliaQuest Bowl victory coming up here in about 10 days, and we'll have it right here for you on the Hawkeye Radio Network. December 30th, by the way, will be our Hawkeye Fight for Iowa ReliaQuest Bowl preview show live from Splitsville at the Sparkman Wharf and Channelside in downtown Tampa, live from 3 until 4:30 Iowa time. So as you're getting ready to ring in the new year, tune us in for our special bowl show, our Bowl Hawk Talk. Come on out to Splitsville if you're going to the game. Pat Anger and I will be there to break down the matchup, talk with players and coaches, and welcome special guests throughout the show. Catch the show on the Hawkeye Radio Network, of course, or on YouTube. Thanks again to George Barnett for a few minutes here on Hawk Talk about Iowa's award-winning, Joe Moore award-winning offensive line. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we're talking Hawkeye basketball for the next hour, and we've got plenty of questions for Coach. That's next here on Hawk Talk, live from the Hyatt Regency Bar and Grill, the Windmill, Watermill Kitchen and Bar, live in the Hyatt Regency here in the Iowa River Landing in Coralville from Learfield.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
Despite the unshakable Iowa-Corn-Cyhawk rivalry, there is one thing Iowa State and University of Iowa fans can both agree on: getting hyped for Unleaded 88. It's cleaner burning and better for your engine, and it's cheaper than other fuel options, making Unleaded 88 the clear fuel choice. If Iowa Corn-Cyhawk rivals can agree on it, you know it's worth the hype. So pump it up with Unleaded 88, grown by Iowa corn farmers.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Hi, I'm Gary Dolphin, and if you want your home to be exceptionally comfortable during these cold Iowa winters and hot, humid summers, you need to turn to Dave Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Lennox has been serving Iowa consumers since 1895, when Dave Lennox built his first furnace in Marshalltown, and Lennox is still building its high-efficiency furnaces and air conditioners there today. For the best home comfort system you can buy, it's Lennox and your local Lennox dealer. Lennox and the Hawkeyes. Now there's a winning combination.
We love it when the Hawkeyes do their thing, because if there's anyone who can appreciate building a legacy, it's John Deere. We've been growing our team since 1837, recruiting the best thinkers, doers, and makers to craft innovations that outpace the competition. Because whether it's cultivating the earth with a tractor or reshaping it with a 40-ton excavator, the machines we build are building America. Nothing runs like a Deere.
At Mid-American Energy, our 1.6 million customers depend on our energy 24/7. That's why we work 24/7 to deliver the safe, reliable energy you need. To keep our 99.9% reliability record, we're enhancing our technology, improving resiliency, and investing in critical infrastructure. We're generating power from all available resources to cover any increases in demand. And we're innovating to ensure you always have the energy you need. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk, live from the Hyatt Regency Watermill Kitchen and Bar. Gary Dolphin with Bobby Hansen, and we've got a special coaching guest joining us here in just a minute. But first, we thought we'd better do a scoreboard. There's a lot going on tonight, and then we'll come back with Coach. Our Community Choice Credit Union scoreboard looks like this. And let's start with men's top 25 basketball. Number 23 ranked Georgia beat West Georgia this evening, 103-74. Virginia rolling over American University, 95-51. 12th ranked North Carolina is midway through the first half, and the Heels lead East Carolina, 23-8. 17th ranked Kansas has an 11-point lead on Davidson with 6 minutes to go in the first half. Now to football. The Monday night game has the Colts hosting the San Francisco 49ers, and they're just underway. It's 7-0 Indy, 7-0 Colts over George Kittle and the San Francisco 49ers. In the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, Washington State knocked off Utah State 34-21. That is the final, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. I'm guessing they play that out in Boise, huh, on the Smurf turf. Okay, we've got Wisconsin. We're back to basketball now. So these are Big Ten teams playing perhaps their final non-conference game tonight. Indiana beats Siena 81-60. Wisconsin leads Central Michigan 26-19. 20th ranked Illinois has a 21-18 lead on Missouri with 8:40 to play there at the State Farm Center down in Champaign. And that wraps up our scoreboard, our first look at the Community Choice Credit Union scoreboard update. Community Choice Credit Union. Does your bank or your financial institution treat you right? Become an unbanker at Community Choice. Community Choice Credit Union, who brings you all of our scoreboard updates this season on Hawkeye basketball coverage from the University of Iowa and Learfield. All right, we're back with more here in just a minute. First off, we want to tell you about our friends here at the Hyatt. New Year's Eve is coming up, and they have a special dinner offer here at Watermill Kitchen and Bar, located in the Iowa River Landing in Coralville. Choose from prime rib or a half rack of lamb. Bobby, you like lamb.
Well, Coach Barnwell just chowed down.
Coach B is on.
Took him about 3 minutes. Knock that thing out.
How did you get that prepared? Medium well?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Bring it good.
But it was
right?
good? I mean, that looks like a gigantic fillet. It was a rack of lamb for Coach Barnwell, who will be our guest next. You can choose from prime rib or a half a rack of lamb paired with your choice of side, a starter, dessert, and a glass of wine or champagne for just $100 a person. Emily, that sounds like something you would enjoy on New Year's Eve. The Hawks aren't playing that night, Coach. Reserve your seat on Open Table, or visit watermillkitchen.com. watermillkitchen.com. We're at the beautifully remodeled Watermill Kitchen and Bar as we speak. And as the official wireless partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes, U.S. Cellular reminds you that on game days, your hands are for cheering, not texting, because game days are built for the Hawkeyes. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Hawk Talk with Coach Ben McCollum and filling in tonight, Coach Barnwell, resumes in just a minute here on the Iowa Hawkeye Radio Network from the Hyatt Regency, courtesy of Learfield.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Iowa fans, with US Mode from US Cellular, you can keep your eye on the game, not on your screen. Whether you're inside the stadium, tailgating in the lots, or listening to the game at home, US Cellular wants you to focus on genuine connections with your family, friends, and fellow Hawkeye fans. That means at game time, you should do less scrolling and more cheering. So eliminate distractions and build connections by setting your phone to US Mode, because game day is for cheering on the Hawkeyes. Go Hawks! US Cellular, built for us.
Flu season is here. Get your flu shot today at your local Hy-Vee pharmacy. It's easy, convenient, and no appointment is necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, earn a 20-cent fuel saver. That's right, a 20-cent fuel saver. Get your flu shot when it's convenient for you. Schedule online or just stop by your Hy-Vee pharmacy. No appointment necessary. Help your family stay healthy. Get your flu shot and get a 20-cent fuel saver only at Hy-Vee. See store for details. Some restrictions apply.
Happy Honda Days are here. The best time to save on a certified pre-owned Honda at your local Honda dealer. See big savings on all certified pre-owned Honda cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. Plus, your Honda backs with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Every certified pre-owned Honda goes through a 182-point inspection and is reconditioned like new by factory-trained technicians with genuine Honda parts. To save on a certified pre-owned Honda, search your local Honda dealer today.
Get ready, Hawkeye fans. New head coach Ben McCollum and the Iowa men's basketball team are ready to hit the hardwood. He's working hard into the corner. Koch hits a three. Oh, talk about catch and shoot. Carver Hawkeye Arena is heating up. Witness the electrifying plays in person and be a part of the roaring Carver crowd. Take in all the action happening at Carver Hawkeye Arena by visiting HawkeyeSports.com on Iowa, and go Hawks. Welcome back to Hawk Talk, live from the Hyatt Regency in downtown Coralville, the Iowa River Landing. Gary Dolphin with Bobby Hansen. Coach McCollum is taking an early Christmas vacation break. In fact, he's up in Storm Lake with his family. Bobby, what did he tell us as he was leaving the building Saturday night in Des Moines? He's going to Storm Lake for some great Mexican food.
That's what he said. Yeah, he said there's a great spot. He wouldn't tell us the name of it, but he said it was right there on the town square in beautiful Storm Lake, home of Buena Vista.
I told him, I said, get a shameless shill plug in. Tell us who. He wouldn't do it. He's above board in every aspect, in every approach, and he's a great fisherman too. So he
claims.
Huh?
I mean, he claims.
That's right. That's Coach.
That's Coach. I've seen one yet.
Ben, that's Coach Barnwell. That's not me saying. So you claim. Let's welcome Luke Barnwell to the microphone, ladies and gentlemen. Hawkeye assistant coach, one of the right arms that Ben McCollum leans on. Luke is in his first year here at Iowa, as all these guys are, and he comes to the Hawkeyes with 14 years of coaching experience. Most recently, spending 2 years in the Big 12 Conference at Texas Tech, where you made, an Elite Eight, if I remember correctly, right?
Yep, don't remind me.
And it had everything to do with your coaching acumen, right?
Yeah, we were up 9 with 2 minutes to go and lost the game. So
you brought that up. I did.
Appreciate that.
You brought that up. I didn't.
Well, how's that happen? Luke?
Yeah, come on.
I guess
Luke.
I don't remember that.
Were you coaching defense that night?
Yeah. Actually, I was not defense. No, I was on the defensive side. Yeah. We let their best player make a bunch of threes. That's how it happened.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
They made threes on you.
Bad scout.
So, bad scout. So their best player.
Happens,
their best
basketball.
player makes threes. Bobby had to guard Magic Johnson for 10 years.
He wasn't a three-point shooter, though.
No, but he could score.
He could score when he wanted to.
At 6'9", he could get around. I just
tried to make him happy and was like, just stay out there, man. Stay out there.
Magic told me Bobby was always grabbing the back of my shorts and holding me, and Bobby's response was, that's the only way I survived 10 years in the NBA. Magic.
When you got a coach named Jerry Sloan.
Well, that's true.
Telling you what to do.
Speaking of great defensive coaches.
Oh, boy.
I've talked about this now for a couple weeks. Iowa's averaging, in the high 80s point-wise, but What's more impressive to me is at the other end of the floor, the defense. It's been unbelievable, Coach.
Yeah, it's gotten better, it feels like, too. You know, it's something that I think Jacob mentioned, it's something we do every day. Obviously, you have your twists and turns and little tweaks you do for each game and each player you play against, but the daily reps we focus on and get after it in 5-on-5, and you're starting to see our team be way more connected and play, guard the ball with 5 guys, and we're getting a little bit better and getting the first miss, too.
Now, does the defensive discussion include everybody, or those that are just you or whoever has the scout?
Usually who has a scout with Coach. We all have input and ideas as we're preparing and practicing for who we're getting ready to play.
So everybody's looking at the tape of the next opponent.
Correct, yeah. And then we will actually practice guarding the things that we're going to see. And so, typically you got plan A, plan B, plan C, and see which one we like the best on film. And then Coach is he's a slow decision maker, and sometimes he makes that decision right before we walk out the last time we go in.
He's very direct.
But it's very well thought through, and trying to, you try to prepare for everything that could happen. And ultimately what happens, though, is our guys go out there and do what we do every day, which is they get after it and they're connected.
Bobby, you've seen defense at every level, high school, college, and the NBA. What do you see in Iowa in their defensive approach now?
Just pressure. I haven't seen any zone out of them. Haven't really seen any full court pressure. It is just man-to-man defense. You are responsible for your guy, and then there's good communication. And I was going to ask Luke, what I have been impressed with is the attention to detail. I haven't seen a lot of practices, but what I have seen, Coach McCollum spends a lot of time explaining, where your feet position should be, your shoulder position, where to come under the screen, over the screen, be physical with it. So just been impressed with the attention to detail. Just your thoughts as a coach.
Yeah, it's truly I've learned since I've been here being with him. And to your point, it's the little things that you don't see on TV. It's the little things that you don't see in a possession that matter. And it's, it could be beating the lead foot on a drive. It could be your ball screen foot placing to make sure you're guarding the ball screen correctly. But it's very detailed, and it takes a ton of practice because we've been going since June. So and in each game, you can't just define it one direction or one way because there's so many things that happen that make you make decisions. And what I think our guys have gotten better at is taking the attention to detail and then having feel and making the decision on what should happen in the current moment, because the game of basketball happens so fast and you have to make decisions. And over time, I think we've gotten better at being good at the details in the decision that we have to make.
Coach, that's a really good point, because watching the practice at Iowa State as you guys prepared, and you hold them to 66 points. I mean, they were averaging, 90 points, but holding 66. But Coach McCollum kept saying, okay, here's what we want you to do. Here's what's going to happen when you see this happen. But he said, you're going to have to play at some points. And I appreciated that, because you got to let the players play. And like you said, things change in the course of a game. Things change in the course of a possession. But just the ability to let the guys think and play through.
Yeah, and as much as we'd love for, the opposing coach to tell us exactly what they're going to do, they don't do that.
So you
have to make decisions. And then to that point, I mean, I think when you have to make decisions, you're going to fall back to your habits. And our habits, I think, are good, and I think our guys show up every day and get after it. And when your habits are good, then you can make those decisions, and you've put in the amount of work, and you have equity to go to when you have to make those decisions to compete. And I think our guys are competing right now.
Yep. Coach Luke Barnwell, Hawkeye assistant coach, filling in for Coach McCollum tonight. You spent a few years, more than a few years, at Sunrise Christian Academy or prep school down in, is it Wichita or?
Yeah, it's in Bel Air, but if you're familiar with the area, there's
not
really,
California.
It's not California. It's just there's no difference between Wichita and Bel Air. It's
I didn't think there was.
37th Street, or was it 37th Street? I think it's 37th Street. Across 37th, you're in Bel Air. That's it.
Well, it's one of the outstanding prep schools in America in terms of talent that you draw in there, and because the only reason I know that is the Hawks have gotten they've gotten a couple players out of there, but certainly recruited a whole lot more than that. But it is one of the top prep schools for basketball in the country, and you were very happy there, and then you got the call from Texas Tech, and Tell us about your trek from Sunrise to T-Tech and then to Iowa.
Yeah, I mean, I had to eat my words the day that I got the call to go to Texas Tech. I was speaking at a prayer breakfast in Wichita, and I got up in front of, 1,000 people and said, I'm never leaving, and this is my dream job. And then Grant called me that night and started the conversation with the opportunity to go to Texas Tech. So I had to eat my words, and it's funny because typically when you try to control and say what you're going to do, God usually gives you the opposite, and that's what happened. And I actually had known Coach McCollum for a while. In 2018, he had been in North Texas 1 year, and one of his assistants moved on to a higher level, and he had to hire one spot. And the best thing about Coach Mack is he was slow with the process, and he hires good people. And I was not a good player. I was not a good basketball player, but I didn't get recruited, but he recruited me to North Texas, and he called me every single day and was, almost begging me to go with him to North Texas. And I ultimately didn't do it at the time, but we developed a really good relationship through that period and stayed close. And then when the deal at Texas Tech happened, the staff, one of the other assistants was with me at Sunrise 6 years. The other assistant, Matt Breyer, who actually was involved in him meeting his current wife. We've known each other forever. And then the GM ran a bunch of high school events in Dallas, and I've known him for 10 years. And they were unbelievable people, and it was too good of an opportunity to say no. And then actually the guy that hired me at Sunrise actually spent some time in the Big Ten. He was at Minnesota for 3 years, an assistant. He was actually back at Sunrise at the time. So I felt like I could hand it back to somebody that actually cared about it, because it meant a lot to me, and it was a special time there. And then Texas Tech obviously was a great run. We mentioned earlier we were all but to San Antonio, and it stopped short. And then the world collided for me with staying or coming to Iowa. It was not an easy decision. Both people are unbelievable head coaches, and then the staffs are unbelievable. But ultimately, I've known Coach McCollum since I was in middle school, and our relationship is like he's like a mentor or a guy that I would call when I needed help on, it could be life, spiritually, going through conversion to Catholicism. He was involved in those conversations, basketball-wise, questions about how to do things. He was always that guy for me, and, that's one of the main reasons why I'm here.
That's good stuff. That's great stuff. On that note, before we take a break, Coach, Doug on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. Coach, did you know Gabe Olashany at Sunrise? Can you talk about prep schools and what his experience is with them? What is Iowa United? Multiple questions here. How can our program benefit from prep schools? Well, yes, you do know Gabe Olashany.
Yeah, I do.
And we loved him here at Iowa. Shot-blocking Gabe.
Yeah, Gabe was an unbelievable guy, too, a great human being. He was leaving Sunrise as I was getting ready to start working there. So in times he would come back, and I got to meet him a few times. I actually ran into him at the airport one time with our team. I was like, hey, we know you. And he took a picture with our team. It was pretty cool. But great dude, happy that he had a great career here. And I think he's still playing.
He is over in Europe.
Yeah, I think he's playing back home in England. So
loved his accent.
Yeah. Awesome dude. And then prep schools, high school basketball changes drastically every year, really. It's different. When I was there 3 years ago, it was different when I first started there 10 years ago as far as, the amount of them. There's more. Prep schools, seems like every day they just pop up. We used to call them peanut butter prep or popcorn prep because they just come out of nowhere. They don't have schools. And that's the one thing about Sunrise that was awesome is it was a legitimate academic institution. Our guys, some of the hardest things were keeping guys eligible because school was difficult, and then obviously had a strong faith component to it. And we traveled and we would play, as good as public schools as we could, and then ultimately over time built a league that now is run by Nike, and Iowa United. And you mentioned in your question is actually in that league, the EYBL Scholastic, and they actually bought the rights out to the league that we created in 2021, I believe, was the first year. Wow. It was not official because of COVID, and then it became official in 22. There's 20 schools in that league now. When I was doing it in 22, 23, there was 8 schools. And so it was very, very concentrated as far as, the best players were at those 8 schools. I think that last year I was there, Modest Buzelis, anybody Chicago Bulls fan, was playing for me. He's a lottery pick. And then I think Ma Bird had 2 or 3 lottery picks, and IMG had 2 or 3 lottery picks. So the NBA talent was all – now it's more spread out. Iowa United is down the road from us, and they're in that process of probably where Sunrise was probably 15 to 20 years ago, of building and trying to build a prep school that's legitimate with good players. And I watched him play actually last week in Vegas. So, and then, I think we can benefit from it because those guys are playing against each other, and you get to see them, the best play against the best, and you get to try to follow who fits. Sometimes it's hard to see a kid play in his high school that, he's getting triangle and two. Like one of our assistants, Coach Wheeler, went up to see a kid in Illinois last week, and he didn't touch the ball because they were double teaming him. They triangle and two'd him and played 3-on-4 with everybody else. So it's like it's hard to see him in a live setting versus in those prep school games that the competition's more equal, and you get to see what guys can do, and you can see how it translates.
So you are not only an outstanding coach, but you are a recruiter. So my question to you is, in this new regime, why not Iowa?
Honestly, I would put the process that we put our guys through in development up against anybody. Because truthfully, I've seen it. Every program came into my gym when I was at Sunrise for 10 years. And there's one guy that I knew that I respected the most as far as like how to do what we do, and that was Ben McCollum. I thought his mind for the game, his mind as a leader, and his relationship building and an approach to how he builds a program, I just didn't see anybody that could do it as good as him. And so that's why I'm here. We're happy you're here. And I think that's what separates us is we're a younger staff, coaches younger, but like we connect with our guys and we help them get better, and ultimately we play with a lot of edge and win. And they're only in year one.
How about that? Coach, we'll get back with you in a minute. I know Bobby has some questions for you as well. And we'll get back to Facebook and Twitter for Coach Luke Barnwell. Right now we're going to pause 10 seconds for station identification. Santa Claus is, I guess the sleigh has just lifted off, so he's on his way to different countries before he heads our way. But he no doubt is tuned into the Hawkeye Radio Network. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Hawk Talk with Coach McCollum and Coach Barnwell from the Hyatt Regency in the Iowa River Landing. And we'll step out, take a break, and come back with more of your questions and comments for Coach Barnwell in just a minute on Hawk Talk from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar and Learfield.
Tournament Club of Iowa, designed by golf legend Arnold Palmer. TCI is his only signature course in the state. TCI is a public course offering a challenging yet enticing experience for golfers of all levels and is managed by Kaler Golf. Cap off your round with breathtaking views and a delicious meal at the TCI Bar and Grill. Looking for a unique setting for your wedding party or outing? Look no further than the newly renovated clubhouse at TCI. Visit tcofiowa.com to book your tee time today.
Hawkeye fans, gear up for game day with Big Grove. As an official craft brewery of the Iowa Hawkeyes, they bring you the ultimate game-watching experience. Sip on fan favorites like Easy Eddie, Citrus Surfer, and Neighborhood Beer while cheering on the Hawks. Can't make it to the stadium? No worries. Join them at any of their 4 Iowa locations in Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, Des Moines, and Solon. Big Grove Brewery, your official watch party headquarters of the Hawkeyes. Go Hawks!
Cancer doesn't care. It doesn't care what you look like, how old you are, what you do, or where you live. We do. University of Iowa Healthcare is doing more to beat cancer than anyone in the state. From second opinions to life-saving treatments that happen here first. We lead the way in research, training, and care because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Celebrate the legendary Donnie Baker with a night of non-stop laughs at the Donnie Baker Ron Sexton Memorial Tour coming to Riverside Casino and Golf Resort. On Friday, January 30th, hear fellow Bob and Tom Show comedians Bob Zaney, Greg Hahn, and Kostaki Economopoulos share outrageous stories and never-before-heard moments from the road. Purchase your tickets for this heartfelt and hilarious tribute now at riversidecasinoandresort.com or stop at our gift shop. It's going to be a night of laughs you won't forget.
You asked for all the extreme internet performance at an all-in price, and we listened. Get 1 gig internet with a 2-year price lock and everything included. Unlimited data for nonstop streaming, powerful Wi-Fi for enhanced coverage, built-in online threat protection, and internet equipment. All for just $65 a month for 2 years. It's the extreme 1 gig internet deal you asked for. Call 844-4FASTER or visit extreme.com for details. Offer available to new customers only. Price doesn't include one-time charges, tax, and government fees.
Hawkeye Nation, the wait is over. Carver Hawkeye Arena is calling, and the Iowa men's basketball team is ready to light it up under new head coach Ben McCollum. It's his first year at the helm, and the Hawks are ready to fly with high-octane style of play that will leave you on the edge of your seat. Single game tickets are on sale now. Secure your seat, bring the energy, and help give the Hawks the home court advantage. Head to HawkeyeSports.com and grab your tickets today. Let's pack Carver and make this season one to remember. Go Hawks! Welcome back to Hawk Talk on the Iowa Hawkeye Radio Network and Learfield. Hawkeye Sports Properties and our setup here outstanding each and every week at the Hyatt Regency in the Watermill Kitchen and Bar. I want to say hi to Lucy. Lucy's out in California tonight. Lucy is one of our regulars here at Hawk Talk, and she's out visiting son Charlie in Orange County. And you know what? What was it, 40 degrees here today? So we were balmy and a little humidity and warm, but I guess I don't know what it was in Orange County. But Lucy, we know you're tuned in, and thank you so much for your support of the Hawkeyes. And we miss you. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you and your family, and to everybody here, of course, on Hawk Talk with Gary Dolphin, Bobby Hansen, and assistant. Well, I already made you head coach, Luke Barnwell. He can't like Mexican food that good, does he?
Yeah.
In Storm Lake, he's up there enjoying probably a Mexican meal, listening to the show.
And when he likes something, he just eat it every day. Same thing. So he must have a routine there.
How does a guy who loves to ice fish and fish be so rabid about Mexican food? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that.
It's a good question.
Huh?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I'll ask him that in the post game.
I'll call in next week.
Yeah. Call in next week and ask him, will you, Luke? I'd like a guy with a good sense of humor. All right. We have Montana. That's an interesting name. And Decorah. Coach, what do you value more when coaching offense or defense? Drill work, live reps, or film study?
Yeah,
that sounds like a coach to me.
Yeah, it sounds like he might be coaching. I think there's a balance of all those things. You know, I think we spend a lot of time, you know, surprisingly defensively, and then coach we spent most of the summer and the fall putting our flow and the things that we do in FIST where the ball, we like it moving, and then, you know, he'll tweak and turn some things for each game offensively, but it always ends up back to trying to get two on the ball and passing and then playing in the advantage offensively, and that's why we're so efficient and we work through it. But like the majority of the things that we're going to put our attention to is how we guard and I think the drill work is you know, you build the habits with your drill work, and then we do play a ton of 5-on-5 though, and I think that the 5-on-5 simulates the game. So situations that happen in the game, we talked about that before, like they make those decisions so many times in practice that like you eventually get so much better of it. And then we watch film, we'll prepare for each opponent, and we'll watch a lot of film of personnel and watch what they do. And then we oftentimes post game will break up into, hey, you know, you watch film with a few guys and try to help them through. And then every now and then we coach will see something that he needs to address with some guys and bring those guys in and try to help them understand it better. And you know, it's a combination of all those things, to be honest. But I think the main thing is if you don't guard people, you know, you're not going to win championships. And I think we spend a lot of time on that.
Well, Bobby, you played for 3 Hall of Famers, Frank Layden, Jerry Sloan, and Phil Jackson. What was their cup of tea? Drill work, live reps, or film study?
Frank Layden was just play ball. Frank didn't like to draw plays. He worked for Hubie Brown, just go play. And then Jerry Sloan was all about defense. It was to Luke's point. It was just repetition. You know, the drills that you run, that becomes, you know, just normal to you. And at first it's, you know, monotonous in that, but when you continue to do it, it just becomes second nature there. Phil Jackson, That's just a guy that, was people ask me, what was Phil Jackson like? I said, you know what? I don't have a whole lot of honors classes, but he was like your teacher in an honors class. He just kept you stimulated and motivated every day to come to practice. It was always something different. Yeah, we had the triangle offense. You had two of the greatest players in NBA history, Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan, that will D you up and trap you. And, the Dobermans, they used to call them. Johnny Bach used to unleash them on them, and they'd have their way with you. But Phil just brought you back down to earth. I mean, you're talking the greatest player to ever play the game, and he has to face Michael in a meeting at 11 o'clock in the morning every day to get him fired up, to get him to go to practice and kick our butts. The guy went hard. He was a competitor, but it's just everybody's got their own style, and it works for whatever.
And I shouldn't leave Lute. He played for Lute Olson. Yeah. What separated Lute from your average everyday head coach?
Well, he was the coach. I mean, he demanded respect, I guess. Tall guy, good looking, silver hair. Never swore. Lute never did. He kind of got his message across without, profane language. Lute was like your dad. You didn't want to disappoint, I think. And then the people that he recruited, and Luke can expand on this, but when you recruit somebody to come into the group, you don't want any bad apples, I guess. So Luke made sure that he had good people around him, and he asked us when we took a guy out on a recruiting trip. So that was Luke. He did that work prior to build that team, and then he'd teach. Basketball was different back then. We've talked about it before. It isn't the long shots. Back then it was get it as close as you could to the basket, get it inside
before the 3-point shot.
Yeah, make your cuts, and outside shots were frowned upon basically from deep, and then the 3-pointer came in and analytics came in, and people realized that the percentages take threes.
Yeah, right. And from Lute to Luke. And I just, when he was talking about that, I'm thinking Bennett Sturtz. Yeah, he can hit the three, but his game is get it inside, distribute, and get the easy baskets. So Lute Olson's philosophy made perfect sense in the early 80s.
Yeah, it's weird because analytically people would look at Coach McCollum's offense and be like, oh, he must study analytics like crazy. We don't talk about analytics at all. I mean, we don't. We just try to get layups, and when you try to get layups, typically teams will try to take those away, and when they take those away, then we shoot threes. So it's that simple.
I see you guys working on the iPads, though. Look, what are you guys looking at quickly during a timeout? Are you looking for a replay, a review?
It could be any of numerous things. The one that I remember the most is recently was Alvaro. His screening angle was not great, and so I showed him his screening angle where he missed twice. Could be, hey, they're running this action at us, and we got to tweak how we're going to guard something. It could be, hey, coach, look at this. This is how they're guarding this. We could run A, B, or C to attack the way they're guarding these things, and then he goes in there and does his thing on that whiteboard.
So in real time, so that iPad, you're catching the game off of television. And then just
pretty much, yeah. The possession before, we have that's credit to Jay Smith. Shout out to our video guy and our GAs that are sitting behind the bench doing all the dirty work and clipping it and tagging it. And we can say, hey, flag that. We want to show somebody. So like they'll put my name on it and flag it, so I can go to the next media timeout and show whatever I saw. So they're great.
You watch an NFL game today? Everybody's got their own little laptop.
When they come to the sideline.
Once they switch position, offense, defense. Yep. I mean, it's amazing. College basketball, NBA.
Yeah,
it's there.
It is the age.
Why not use the technology? I mean,
well, absolutely.
Like you said, you want to show Alvaro. Okay, your angle's a little different, but you can just pull that up and say, next time he'll do it.
And
the video doesn't lie, right?
And actually, the next time he did it and got an and one. So,
there you go.
So that was good.
Oh man, things changed when he hopped off the bench the other night.
He was pretty dialed in and brought some energy.
He was active,
and his energy was right. And I think that the defensive urgency sparked the offensive explosion, to be honest.
We'll take a break, come back with more on Hawk Talk with Coach McCollum. We appreciate Coach Barnwell filling in tonight. We're sponsored by University of Iowa Healthcare. Here for you no matter where you are in the state, changing medicine and changing lives for all of Iowa and beyond. Visit uihealthcare.org. And throughout the Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk Series, Iowa Corn promotes honest, hardworking values that are uniquely Iowan. Thank you, Iowa's corn farmers. who lead the nation in corn and ethanol production, feeding and fueling us all. Go to iowacorn.org, iowacorn.org, and learn how corn grows Iowa. When we come back, we're going to get the scouting report on the University of Massachusetts Lowell with Coach Luke Barnwell. That is the lone remaining non-conference game before it's Big Ten all the way, starting the first of the year. That's next on Hawk Talk from the Hyatt Regency in the Watermill Kitchen and Bar, right after this from Learfield.
Dives for lunch.
The Juicy Lucy. Essentially, it's a burger, but with cheese on the inside.
James Beard Award winners for dinner.
French technique, but Midwestern ingredients. It's a little unbecoming to lick the bowl, but...
Plan your next trip at exploreminnesota.com.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford Tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
Iowa fans, with US Mode from U.S. Cellular, you can keep your eye on the game, not on your screen. Whether you're inside the stadium, tailgating in the lots, or listening to the game at home, U.S. Cellular wants you to focus on genuine connections with your family, friends, and fellow Hawkeye fans. That means at game time, you should do less growling and more cheering. So eliminate distractions and build connections by setting your phone to US Mode, because game day is for cheering on the Hawkeyes. Go Hawks! U.S. Cellular, built for us.
Time now for the Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield Health Coverage Report. Let's take a look at the numbers. When you enroll in a Wellmark individual or family health plan, you choose from thousands of in-network providers. And you're teaming up with Iowa's #1 health insurance company. We know healthcare in Iowa. Score great coverage from Wellmark. Find the plan that's best for you at wellmark.com/covered. Enrollment ends January 15th.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Comedy powerhouse Dane Cook is coming to Riverside Casino and Golf Resort on Friday, February 13th. Known for his unparalleled stage presence and outrageous observational humor, Cook's catalog has been streamed over 1 billion times worldwide. Along with his unforgettable comedic genius, he has starred in movies such as My Best Friend's Girl, Employee of the Month, and Good Luck Chuck. Don't miss out. Get your tickets now at riversidecasinoandresort.com or visit our gift shop.
In Minnesota, we don't hide from winter. We embrace it. When there's a nip in the air, we take on the trails. For every layer you wear, there's a new experience waiting for you.
It's a little unbecoming to lick the bowl, but...
Plan your next trip at exploreminnesota.com.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk. We're live from the Hyatt Regency and the Watermill Kitchen and Bar. Gary Dolphin with Bobby Hansen as usual. And Luke Barnwell has done a great job filling in tonight for head coach Ben McCollum, who's taken a few extra days away for the Christmas holiday. Luke, when do Jake Cook was here tonight? Of course, he's an Iowa City kid. Loved having Jake with us this evening. When does everybody come back and you circle the wagons and get ready for the University of Massachusetts Lowell as we start our Midwest One Bank scouting report?
The guys they took off, most of them, the 21st, because, we played in the evening, the 20th. Right. Some of those guys that can drive, the Kansas City guys probably took off that evening. But they'll be back actually Christmas Day, and we'll crank it up the next day, give them a day to get back and get in town. And, obviously this time of year, you never know what can happen with the weather. So give ourselves a little time and to get them back and get ready to go and practice on the 26th.
Who's been maybe the most pleasant surprise in the eyes of the coaches? You got the six guys from Drake that you knew about, or at least Ben knew about. How about among the freshmen? We've got a couple of posts here tonight on Tate Sage. Has he been a revelation? Or obviously you offered him a scholarship. You knew he was good.
Yeah, I mean, I think him and Cooper have been phenomenal for us in big games. You know, two freshmen that are playing significant minutes. I mean, Cooper started, every game.
He didn't play a lick last year.
Yeah, and he had the weird health issue, and thankfully he's healthy. And honestly, Tate, as much, again, going back to our process, Coach is so process-driven. As much as we practice and play 5-on-5 and practicing, like you could kind of see, like, we might have got a steal here. Because we did. We offered him a scholarship, but nobody else really did.
Right.
And, thankfully they got him committed to Drake, and he followed us, and he's been great. He's still, truthfully, he still has things that we're pushing him to be better at, and that's exciting to think about where he can go in the future. But we also need him to help us win right now. And then I think, to be honest with Cooper, he would have been my answer. Is the guy that surprised me the most, because early, I think, in his defense, you're at a new staff and a new program,
sure.
and it's different. Right, wrong, or indifferent, whatever you want to say or believe, it's different. And so we had to adjust to it. And if you would have asked me he was starting in the summer, I would have said heck no. But I think you guys have seen he's been really big for us, and he's still got a lot of things he can get better at too. But he's been great.
Well, we know his dad, and he's a lot like his dad, just tough, blue-collar, lunch bucket guy.
Grinder.
Bobby, I know you would agree.
Yeah, grinder, no doubt about it. And, get to the rebounds, and I know he didn't have any baskets made in the game the other day, but he's going to have some great games coming up for the Hawkeyes. He's healthy is the number one thing. You could see his talent last year at shooting from the corner, shooting from the wings, and then we had to shut it down, and thank goodness he's good on the health front, but look for a breakout week from Cooper Koch.
What do you glean from UMass Lowell? You got UCLA right on the back end of that game, and now you're Big Ten for 20 games or 18 games, I guess. Hawks are 1-1 in conference play. But what do you use the Lowell game for to get you ready for once the calendar turns in January?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, you're competing against somebody, so you got to win the game, and we'll make sure our guys are prepared to win the game, which that'll take 3 practices, to be prepared to go win a game. There's no secret sauce to that. Obviously, the teams that struggle in these games are thinking about the Big Ten and thinking about what's ahead, and you can't do that. And you have to put yourself in the mind frame to win the 40-minute game and be ready to compete, regardless of who you're playing, to be honest.
That's our Midwest One Bank scouting report with Coach Barnwell. Thanks to Midwest One Bank, the presenting sponsor of Hawkeye men's basketball. Midwest One Bank, a proud partner of doers and entrepreneurs. Our teams are ready to help you reach your business goals. It's empowered money management. It's Midwest One Bank, member FDIC. Hawk Talk, I should say, with Coach McCollum and Coach Barnwell tonight has been brought to you by Wellmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. They know that quality coverage takes a great team, and with a Wellmark individual and family health plan, you can choose from thousands of in-network providers. Score great savings, score great coverage, and find the right plan for you at wellmark.com/covered. Luke, let's work one in from the U.S. Cellular text line before we have to say goodnight. Chris is way out there in southwest Iowa in Red Oak. Coach, what specific goals, this is generically speaking, goals do you set as a team prior to the start of the season? Is it you talk national championship, Big Ten title, getting into the Sweet 16, and then you have to be realistic with your expectations and considering the circumstances as a new coach with a new team and a new conference. Do you even set goals?
Yeah, that's a great question and maybe a shocking answer. No. We're so concerned with our process because the process will accomplish the things that you just listed if our process is right and our guys are bought in and get after it on a daily basis. And ultimately, I'd be lying to you if I told you we didn't want to walk into every arena and want to win every game.
Sure.
I mean, that's our mindset, that's our mentality, and we believe we could do it because of the process that we put our guys through, and that's the way Coach is wired, and that's the way our guys are starting to figure it out.
That won't change. One more from Phil up in Waterloo. If you had to pick one portion of your team that requires the most attention and in need of improvement, what aspect over the holidays, what aspect would that be?
I just think we're getting ready to step into the Big Ten. So, I think the thing that we did improve on towards the end of the pre-Christmas games were finishing possessions with rebounds. So I think we've got to continue to put our attention and focus on getting the first miss, because I think we are guarding people and limiting them to one opportunity.
Polly and Bettendorf on Twitter at Gary Dolphin. I'm curious why you schedule a game mid-season on a neutral floor like you did recently against Bucknell in Des Moines.
That's above my head. I actually believe that was a previous
It was scheduled, but the Hawks have played in Des Moines before.
Yeah, and personally, I like it. That was fun. It was
it's great exposure.
Good environment. Yeah,
and we got, as you know, so many rabid fans in Central Iowa that don't get to come to Iowa City, often. And hey, they sold over 10,000 tickets. There were 9,000 there.
It was a great environment.
They were loud.
Credit to those people.
They're outstanding. One more, Alan. Speaking of Des Moines, he's in Pleasant Hill. Is there a team in the Big Ten or nationally that might closely resemble your current Hawkeye squad? Go Hawks! Thanks, Alan.
Man, Alan, that's a tough one.
Well, how about Houston? How about Kentucky, North Carolina?
You'd pick sides of the ball and maybe say defensively, weirdly, we would want to emulate the Houston approach where we're aggressive and as you mentioned, ball pressure and things like that. But I think we are a little bit different than most people, and I think that's what makes us good. Yeah,
so, Alan, we'll turn that around. Who in the top 10 would most resemble the Hawkeyes? Huh?
Honestly, this is crazy to think. I really don't even know who's in the top 10, to be honest with you. I'm so singularly focused on our team. And
you don't need to worry about who's in the top 10.
Well, we got a minute and a half left. Christmas is around the corner. Your wife is here with you.
Emily's here. What'd you get her for Christmas?
You got a young child at home. Is it the first Christmas for them?
No, it'll be the second Christmas. Yeah. I can't tell you what I'm going to get her. She's sitting right there.
I know. I was trying to help her out.
I'm smarter than that. I know I don't look that smart, but
well, it's the anticipation. Yeah. I can tell she's really fired up and excited.
But shiny and sparkly and
As you know, it ends up being for the little ones more than it does for us. So
as well, it should be, right?
Yeah.
All right. Yep. Hey, you've been great tonight. Thanks, buddy, for coming by. Coach Barnwell. Outstanding, Bobby. Thank you.
All right, Gary.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everybody. We'll talk to you from Tampa later this week. And, of course, we'll be here in a couple weeks with our next Ben McCollum Hawk Talk program. We've been brought to you tonight by Summit Agricultural Group, committed to Iowa and adding value to Iowa products. Corn, beef, hogs, ethanol, all courtesy of Summit Ag Group, Summit Agricultural Group. Go Hawks. Appreciate your attendance tonight here on Hawk Talk. Iowa, Vanderbilt coming up on New Year's Eve day. The Hawks and Lowell of Massachusetts, December 29th. And then UCLA is at Carver, January 3rd. Get your tickets. There's tickets available. Good night, everybody. Happy holidays.
Live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar inside the Hyatt Regency in Coralville. This has been Hawk Talk with Coach Ben McCollum. Brought to you by Iowa Corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. By your local Ford dealers. Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle. Your Iowa John Deere dealers. John Deere loves to see the Hawkeyes do their thing, because if anyone can appreciate building a legacy, it's Deere. Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Made right here in Iowa since 1895. Mediacom, home of extreme and 1 gig internet speeds. Mid-American Energy. Mid-American Energy is proud to deliver affordable, reliable energy to you all season long. Midwest One Bank is the presenting sponsor of Hawkeye men's basketball. Midwest One, small enough to care, big enough to deliver. Member FDIC. Honda. To see how Honda crushes the competition, see your local Central Midwest Honda dealer. Honda gets the Midwest. Shelter Insurance. The ball is in your court. Visit shelterinsurance.com to find an agent who can help you with your auto, home, and life insurance needs. Also brought to you by University of Iowa Healthcare. changing medicine, changing lives. And by U.S. Cellular, the official wireless partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes. U.S. Cellular, built for us. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.